getting to hear there from CLG's Tarek. You can see him now warming up here in Cologne for the big one. It is going to be CLG facing off. They're going to have to play the Battle of Survival versus Dignitas. And this is going to be an intriguing one to discuss because it does seem like, despite the awesome video there, that his team is coming into this one as severe underdogs. And I do know it's been said before, it's on the internet, but can we just highlight quickly, Duncan, why they are considered underdogs? You know, they've gone through some turmoil recently with both rosters and results.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the whole team's was largely based around the stable, strong AWPing style of JDM. They've lost him, unfortunately. He's gone over to Team Liquid. He's playing in Group C, actually. Then you've got to add in that they tried to make a gamble and go and get a different fifth player. They were going to have, because they brought in Kusta to replace JDM, but they were going to get a different guy. It's never actually been revealed publicly who it was going to be, but presumably it was going to be someone good. Somehow the deal fell through at the last minute. They end up in a scenario where they had to use their coach, Peter, who's actually the in-game leader as well. So that's like a positive. At least you've got the in-game leader in the game. But unfortunately, he hasn't been a CSGO pro since over 2 years ago. I mean, he used to be playing in like late 2013. Then he's been like the NIP coach. Now he's involved in this team. So they're coming in with a bunch of question marks around them and not a whole lot of positives right now. And so, listen, if they can win games, they can show us something that's good, but they haven't really shown us anything yet.
I mean, similar to Glaive, he's been pulling his weight, Peter, and we'll be talking about him in just a moment. Yanko, we want to just quickly stay on that Tarek discussion for a moment because this hasn't been a fantastic tournament for him, at least statistically.
Well, yeah, he has been struggling. Their whole team of sorts. Hayes was the one pulling the most weight in their opening match. But as I said yesterday, I feel that it's too high of a task for Tarek to carry this team. He needs more help. But then yesterday we saw the other thing. He wasn't the one carrying. It was Hayes. So I feel that from yesterday's game, they lost a lot of like clutch situations, after plans, where it just comes down to individual play style, to the game sense of your players, and that's ideal for CLG because they don't have the team play with the stand-in and with Kusta just recently joining them. So I felt that the scenario like yesterday, that's the type of a game they would like to play, just that they didn't play it very well.
Didn't have the opportunity to do so. Now, Blue, could you perhaps touch on this whole Hayes? Duncan mentioned it, Yanko's mentioned it as well. He seems to have found himself a bit of a new style. He was holding up the AWP a lot on Dust 2.
Yeah, it was the B site too, and it was kind of odd because it was really weak for the first couple of rounds in that half there, but then all of a sudden you just turned it up, as we could see, pulling off these crazy plays like you have on the screen now, and just from like a single stable position too, picking off these kills left and right. So it was great to see that from him, but it's not necessarily him that we should be seeing that from, it's Kusta. And unfortunately, we didn't see a whole lot of that from him. He's still just sticking to these positions where he feels like he's strong. He's not really wanting to venture out from that, and because he's still new to this team, he's not really able to support those guys as well either, as he's not really familiar with where they're playing from.
And I mean, you can see that, I mean, a debut tournament from Config has gone fantastically as well. This is his first major, and we get to see 25 frags from him and a solid ADR alongside that. So far, so good for both Hayes and Config. They're the two overperformers that we've got to see in their opening best of ones. And now it does fall to Dignitas CLG. And one more best of one, and the fact that one of these teams is going out in just one map does make the veto very important, Duncan. Let's start discussing the maps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, CLG are another one of our question marks because they haven't played with this lineup at any lands. So we're kind of thinking, right, usually in that scenario, I just go back to the old lineup. I go, what was the core strength of the old lineup? Problem is, core strength of the old lineup based around the AWPing of JDM. So if we look into this here, an overpass ban from CLG, not much of a surprise there. That's not a map that you generally wanted from a team like over CLG and many of the North American teams. Dignitas banning out Train. I actually think in this sense, that's probably largely predicated on thinking that CLG might be decent on that map. Like, I don't think Dignitas necessarily is against playing that. Nuke ban from CLG. A lot of teams obviously haven't practiced Nuke. They're not playing it much. Dignitas has at least shown us it at the qualifier, which has paid off because you've seen Nuke bans are coming in against them. Dust 2 ban, classically, that's a map. I mean, you saw CLG play it decently enough yesterday. You know it's a map that the North Americans like. The ban of Cash coming in from CLG is interesting because actually I don't think of Cash as a super strong Dignitas map. It's a decent map, but this means the randomizer obviously has left us with Cbble, and the other one would have been, Mirage. Okay, so I actually think that this is a fantastic pick ban for the guys from Dignitas. They've ended up exactly where they want to be, even though actually they chose to be they didn't choose to be Team B, is it? Because CLG's the Team A. But I think this has worked out very, very well. You've gotten to what's essentially classically the strongest map for the guys from Dignitas here. Now, it is also a map that the old version of CLG used to like, certainly. But again, that was a very much predicated on this map around JDM.
You're nodding, Blue. You think perhaps, there is some potential for CLG to have some strengths?
There is, as Thorn said, with the old roster. They love to play on this map, and there was actually a lot of good things that we used to see in the past from Cutler on this map. If he starts off well, he'll go for these like really confident plays. As we know, since it's going to be on cobblestone, we're going to see a lot of shotgun plays plays being used here, especially from these guys. Cutler loves to play with that, so expect a lot of Mag 7 buys coming in. If he can show up with that, maybe we can finally see another good game from him. He's been slumping a lot, and we talked about that yesterday, but it's really just a big question mark with him still.
We do get to see Kusta as well. I mean, you said already he had a good first half, but that was about it. And now he has an opportunity. Well, perhaps just one more opportunity, guys. It is time for those predictions. Do we have any faith in CLG, or will this be Dignitas Astralis best of 3 a little later on tomorrow? Duncan, first of all.
No, I think this, especially with the map being Dignitas, being Cobblestone, which is a Dignitas specialty, I think this should be a solid win for the guys from Dignitas. I think the pick band's gone just how they want it to be. They've got CLG just where they want them. Barring some absolutely unexpected, fantastic individual performances, I don't see a CLG winning this game.
Is the same for you, Yanko?
Yes, it was the map that CLG beat Envious on in Columbus in that best of 1, but it is a different team, and Dignitas was for a while one of the best teams in the world on Cobble with Cbble, so I have to go with them.
And finally, Blue.
Yeah, I'm going to echo the rest of the thoughts and go with Dignitas here.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, it's understandable that with the complete instability and turmoil that CLG are currently undergoing, it could very well be the end of the line for the North Americans. They could be exiting the tournament. It is all on Cobblestone. CLG versus Dignitas, the Danes versus the North Americans, and one of these teams is going home with their tail between their legs. Let's have a little look as James Bardolph and DDK bring you the action.
Yeah, this will be quite a fun one, and as they mentioned, it's not quite the same CLG that previously were a very confident and comfortable team on this map, because back then we had JDM, who was always good for those really awesome defenses, especially on those B bomb sites, which typically is one of the most important things to have in a team when you're playing this map. So we'll have to see with Kusta if he's going to be able to get a bit of a better performance with a team like CLG. I mean, it's very possible. I think maybe too much was lumped on Kusta back when he went onto Liquid, all that pressure on a new player.
I think one of the interesting things of the 2 maps that remain, Cobble or Mirage, I think this is a better map for him on the CT side, because from what we understand, he still needs to be microed a bit. He needs to be told where to go. So he's not really just kind of roaming around doing his own thing, which is more ideal when you have an AWPer. So I think this is like over towards B, for example. It's a bit simpler when you're on a CT side, looking over towards the crack in the wall, basically. There's not many other places you will need to look. So maybe that will allow him to have a better time of things being an early addition to the CLG roster. And indeed, it will be CLG starting on the CT side, so perhaps we will see that sooner rather than later if they can get their money in the right place. First comes the pistol, and instantly you can see, actually, he's gone for a CZ and HE here. And they're putting most of the bodies over towards the B bomb site, but Dignitas have the entire man-dem down over towards A.
They're going for the creep, and Dignitas are a really strong T-sided team when they're really on their game. So this could be tough if they get a good start. And so far, it looks like they're going to have a pretty easy entry, initially at least. Let's see how many frags can be made at range before they are able to close that range down as they start to sprint forwards. And a nice frag there from Cbble, but it's going to be CLG fighting back with 2 of their own. 3 versus 3 with the bomb needing to be planted still. But it looks like the frags are starting to be made here to allow that to be the case, as he actually slows just ever so slightly as the bomb goes down. And now it's just down to Hazed versus 2 players. He's got lots of time here, even though he's not got a kit, as the bomb is freshly down. He's going to go make his way through the doors. He's spotted both players now, so it's definitely quite doable from the information perspective. He's got to connect those shots and just can't quite make it out of the choke point in time.
4K for Cbble there. Very nice stuff indeed. And Dignitas had a bit of a crossfire. I mean, there was potential for some 1 versus 1s there towards the end, but Cbble finished off the last player as well. Very strong pistol performance from him. So, and this is one thing we say about CT Cobblestone as well. When you lose the pistol on the first half when you're on the CT side, then generally you're going to have a crap half. We'll see if that plays out here for CLG. Bearing in mind, this is a best of 1 as well. This is somewhat disastrous start for the CT side. Spending a bit of money here, but not all of it. It's not a force buy per se. There's 500 to 1,500 in the bank. Only Kusta saving for that AWP.
Yeah, and Config he's got a spud gun, a couple Mac 10s, so that's going to be really fun to see how they try to open up the map with those. Can do all kinds of shenanigans, aggressive shenanigans with those weapons, get the clipboards out, get the information, and see where the CLG side are going to be defending from. Of course, they are actually on B mostly here. It's a very similar opening to their pistol round. It's actually basically the same, with the same sort of timing as to how long they have 4 players on B, but there it is. Pitter's actually able to take down the first player. Might be able to get a second opportunity, but he is shut down by Tensky. But still, a little bit of information there for CLG, but not really too much to make a decision off of.
Good that Tensky abused the reload time to get a relatively safe trade frag in that situation, you know, presuming it's a 1 versus 1. So minutes on the clock here for Dignitas to play with now. So they know where one player was, but there's still a lot of real estate for them to clear here. And this is time for CLG to make a gamble on one of these two sites, but they're still pretty static at the moment. And indeed, it seems the gamble is going to be over towards B. Perhaps I thought Hayes might be heading there, but indeed, he's actually gone for a play over towards the balcony position. So 35 seconds left now, and the most of CLG are going to be on the wrong end of choke point. Hayes goes down on site. That will mean a plant will come in safely. Kusa going in for a bit of a flank, but the rest of his team might be dead before he can get into position. Maybe trying to pick up that fallen weapon in the danger area, and he might be able to do that. Cajun going beyond it. And indeed, Kusa's picked up the MAC-10, so maybe he can hold on to this for the next round. He should be safe from the blast radius there, so he can try and hold his position, but if they exit in that direction, then maybe he'll not be so successful. But if he can get himself some bonus money, that would be great. He's got 1,500 in the bank. That means he can, if he ecos in the next round as well, buy an AWP, but a kill with this MAC-10 would provide some more grenades, maybe another smoke to slow down a Team Dignitas push once CLG are on the buy round.
Yeah, I like the approach from CLG. They're keeping it very conservative in that way. Most players have more than $800 as well. And wow, okay, bit of a team kill coming. That's a little bit of damage.
These hoes ain't loyal. These hoes ain't loyal. These hoes ain't loyal.
All right, well, a little bit of a weird situation there. A bit too much damage done, but let's see if that's going to affect things here. As you mentioned, you know, the AWP is definitely going to be coming out onto Kusta, so the pressure's going to fall on him. And I know that in Kusta, he's still quite fresh for the team, and he's still in a spot where, as a player, he's having to develop a lot of his decision-making. And I know that CLG are having to kind of tell him, okay, you need to go here this round or go there. And so, you know, that's an area that he needs to develop. But obviously, he does have potential. Although, for speaking as an analyst, analysts hate that word.
What potential?
Yeah, because it's speculative. That's why. So here we go. Config, he's made his way into the drop zone, and looks like he's going to be getting some money, some bank for Config.
Nicely done. Hayes letting that P250 pay for itself. He will soon be dispatched of. Tarek has full armor to save here and a P250, so he's going to have to try and hide somewhat. Here's a player going past him, so a bit of a precarious situation. If he can save himself $1,000 on that armor, that would be fantastic. Not taking the shot against MSL there because unlikely to kill him in one shot from that range with a P250. Seems... maybe he thought there was an opening to try and get a bit of a ninja defuse in, perhaps, but not going to work out for him. So, buy round coming in for CLG again because of that MAC-10 kill that Kusta managed to get earlier. He's going to have 6,400 in the bank, so he can pick up a smoke grenade and some other bits and bobs, well, a flashbang. And again, that can make the difference, that one MAC-10 kill. We'll see if that smoke grenade has a role to play as this round plays out. An important round here for CLG.
It certainly is going to be a very important one. I'm quite curious whether or not we're going to see a fast round from Dignitas to just kind of immediately just throw off CLG, because they've been playing a little bit, you know, slow so far, and it does seem like they are getting very quickly into this B bomb site. Now let's see if the shock and aura is going to work out. Rubino straight in there with the MAC-10, and he gets, what? 2 kills, and now the M4 picked up. Rubino's not done. There is the third one. Not quite picking up the fourth, but he's pretty much won the round by himself.
That is a beautiful round because, and yeah, he got all the kills on his own, but there's definitely a team effort coming from MSL. Bearing in mind, there was a bit of a buy from CLG. It wasn't a forced buy, but there's a fairly good likelihood that they're going to drop some helmet buys to allow themselves to get some more grenades out. And that's where he can charge in and just wreck people with a MAC-10. Obviously, it's a very accurate comparison to a rifle while being mobile as well. That is a disaster for CLG. Yeah. It's important they can hold on to the AWP here, but look at the map. The swarm is coming in. It's like the Zerg army, Dan.
Yeah, the horde is coming. And this is going to be pretty awkward right now because all the nades are coming in too. This is a great attack. Oh my god, that's terrible for CLG. They got destroyed in this round. I mean, essentially Rubino almost entirely by himself won the round with a MAC-10. He killed 3 people essentially there. That's kind of ridiculous. And that's an appalling way to start off this cobblestone match. So a lot of work to be done here for CLG because the money is going to get out of control immediately. So CLG are going to have to win against countless buy rounds, basically. That's one of the many problems they're going to have. The other problem that they have is just finding a way to win a round. That's the first obstacle. How do they do that? Dignitas have a lot to go to when it comes to different ways of playing their T sides, aggressively or slow-paced, or trying to play for map control, placing players here or there, and playing the information game. They can pretty much do it all. It's one of the reasons why they can be a very strong team, and why MSL and his leadership is so interesting.
So CLG choosing to stack 4 players over towards the A site. I was wondering what their anti-eco strat would be. They started with 2 over towards the B bomb site, but quickly rotated a second player to join the other 3 over towards A. And I like that. Just put all the resources, or most of them, towards one direction and gamble on the T's making a play. If they don't make a play there, then they can try and set up for exits, try and steal some weapons away, as they should be good to buy in the next round. They've just gone for an eco here, picked up some pistols and the 1HE onto Cutler. Dignitas biding their time at the moment. Slowly moving in towards the B bomb site. So this will be a round which may have little to no action.
Yeah, very possible. It's looking that way at the moment. Dignitas have successfully avoided the stack. I mean, it's a gamble in the way that they've played it, but that's completely fine. As long as you have the nades to place, and we're seeing them there from them, you can play an anti-force buy or anti-eco blind. You just have to have the nades in the right spots. And you have to have the coordination there as a team. And so there it is. They get the bomb side. It's for free. The gamble from CLG, the stack did not pay off. And at this point, all they can do is set up for exits, try to get some economic damage as Team Dignitas try to escape the bomb blast radius. But you can already see that Tensky is ahead of the game here. He's going to be finding some of these players rotating, and life. And I mean, life is very difficult for CLG. It's very unlikely they're going to get even a single kill here.
Yeah, they just can't get close enough. So they may opt to, well, you've got Hayes and Pitta over towards the connector position, and Tarek and Kusta not really allowed any position because of Tensky's role in T-spawn at present. So nicely done, very nicely done indeed by Team Dignitas. 5-0, again, losing a pistol, often disastrous for the CT side. We see that again. This is a really bad start for them, but although let's give credit to that flying MAC-10, that was serious business. The buy coming back out, CLG with about 6K in the bank per player. Open once again onto Kusta. Only Cutler hasn't gotten any kills, and you have to wonder. I mean, Cutler's he tweeted after the previous match from CLG and said that, you know, he was given praise for being consistent last year. He thinks he's done dog poo this year for the most part. So, you know, is he applying lots of pressure to himself? This kind of start, is he going to get tilted because of that?
And right now, Dignitas have 10K. Everyone has around 10K, apart from one player's got 6K. So they're in a really good place, stacking that paper. And we've got right now just a very passive setup from CLG when it comes to the way that they are defending A. So they don't have a lot of ways to gather information. And that's generally one of the problems facing you as a CT side on Cobblestone. It's one of the things that's really annoying. It's hard to get aggressive too. Now we'll start to see that the nades are going to be going in here for this take efforts towards the A side of the map. And it's all about Kusta. Kusta has to do something for this position. He's going to miss the first shot, and Dignitas have players set up to actually get in there as he tries to reposition. That's really nice from Dignitas there. Kusta completely outplayed in that sense, and now Dignitas just have to worry about Pitta in the immediate angles.
The AWP's gone down. 55 seconds left for Dignitas to play with. Pitta's position is going to be crucial. Everybody knows the pop flashes for these positions, this crossfire potential on the other side of these doors. You can see Dignitas making some noise over towards the B-bomb site, trying to pull players over there. You can see Cutler's playing close to the drop, but they see that there's no more action, and there's an instant rotation coming in from CLG, and Pitta's still biding his time here, and he gets the angle just before the flash comes in. 2-man spray down for him. That is huge. 3 versus 3 now, 25 seconds left on the clock, and this might be disadvantage Dignitas. However, the headshots come flying in now. Tarek alone versus 3.
This is going to be tough. Let's see if Tarek can find something here. He's got first Tensky to worry about. His position has been spotted, so he has no element of surprise. He's got to get the raw shots, and there is the first engagement. 1 down to 46 points of health. Tarek is in a lot of trouble right now. Flashbang over the top, no more utility to use, and MSL is going to peek him, but Tarek gets the connection, and there's just one more man. Rubino's not very healthy, 33 points of health, but that's enough. Tarek doesn't know where to look, and that will be the round closed down by Dignitas. Pitta making it a little bit complicated for a while, but still 6-0 now for the Danes.
Unless Rubino was blind there, I don't know why MSL peaks in that situation, because that's like the only way that Tarek can win the round is by giving him a 1 versus 1.
Yep.
But I feel like he threw that flash so high, Rubino should have seen the trajectory of it, because Rubino has the angle. Like if he starts engaging, then MSL can pop out and have the 2 versus 1 situation. Either way, 6-0 for Dignitas. CLG back into poverty once again. However, they've gone for a bit of a buy here, maybe some extra money on Pitta. He's going to pick up an M4. Mag 7 onto Cutler as well, but no armor. So this is a bit of a mixed bag here coming out for CLG. 2 HEs as well. And this is a map where it's quite difficult, especially without utility, to kind of, on the CT side, close out parts, approaches to either side. Like you see on Cash, those aggressive smokes past Toxic. So far so good though, Kustar taking down MSL.
Yeah, that's looking like a pretty decent start until Pitta comes in. Oh, it goes for the jump across, and Config will catch the jump, and Pitta is dead. So 3 versus 3, that's not a bad result for CLG, considering what they're working with. And now it's down to Dignitas with over a minute and the control of the bomb to pick a bomb site. So CLG are in a really awful spot from that perspective, because, how do they play it? Do they try to go for an information push with 2 players and try to beat the push into, let's say, the A bomb site in this case, because there are the 2 players towards B for CLG? Or do they just play it passively? There's lots of ways to play this spot, and none of them are going to be very friendly for CLG. And we will see CBble is looking for the entry there with the AWP, and he's going to find Haze very fast from CBble, and that is Dignitas into the A site.
Cutler doing what he can. He's close to the site. He could go for a bit of a gauntlet run, but he's shown his position now, and that's maybe not the best time to do it because he doesn't have the range to get a kill there, and everybody else will get finished off. I mean, there was potential for the bomber to bomb Planter to be on the site on his own, but that never needed to happen. 7-0 now. No answer from CLG just yet. Half of the first half has gone now, and they're yet to get a round on the board, and Cutler still hasn't got any frags.
Yeah, this is looking pretty bad at this point. And I have to say, it's a pretty bad position for CLG when it comes to the money. Obviously, the way the first 4 rounds went, with that Mac 10 push from Rubino's and so on. Obviously, Dignitas had the best possible start in that sense, and CLG haven't had many chances. But just the way that Dignitas have been able to disable players like Kustar when they have been attacking towards the A long area, does show you how well versed Dignitas are on how CTs like to defend. And CLG will have to mix up their setups a little bit more, and it's hard for them to know what works because they get so few opportunities to actually test stuff. And now it's going to be down to Dignitas just dictating the pace as usual. And they've got a bit of a default going, just spreading across their presence. Drop zone, bit of presence on the plateau on B, and also watching for any CLG desperation pushes on towards A. But so far it's all quiet.
And that last smoke has been deployed by CLG over towards the entrance to B, T-main, as it's called in the game. Importantly for CLG, they have 3 Molotovs in play here. Interesting that they're not really using the tree position here, which is often not Molotovs by teams when they execute towards the site. And indeed, those Molotovs are coming in handy. I'm not sure if that was... well, there was one thrown actually by the CTs. I assume it was that one. So some damage done to Config here, but no men down for either side.
They're looking to go for the push now, and it's going to be trades, but who will stand tall when the dust settles? Tarek, great off angle actually, will catch Tensky easily, and it looks like Kustar finally able to connect something as Tarek is going to be able to easily finish off CBble, finding the shoulder. And it's just Config who is suffering from severe burns at this point as well, down to 13 HP from the Molotov earlier on. And now it's an easy kill for Kustar. Finally, CLG picking up a round, but not just a round picked up, an AWP picked up, and then he lost a single player for it as well. So that's something, but they are still 7-1 down.
Yeah, even if they lose this round, they can go for a terrible buy in the next one. But let's see if they can string some rounds together now. And there's still potential for them to come back to an 8-7, although it is unlikely, especially on this particular map. Nothing but aggression and pressure coming in from Dignitas, who have tons of money in the bank, even after they've rebuyed everything in this particular round. AWPs onto both sides now, just one onto the Team Dignitas, of course. 2 onto the CT side. Tarek being the second AWPer here for CLG. Also moving over towards the B bomb site. Kustar swapped over towards A for the time being. And it looks like it might be a fast play from Dignitas to maybe to try and break the buy of CLG immediately. Rubino leading the charge, but it seems Dignitas are committed to this B bomb site.
Yeah, they love that fast pace to just shake a CT side that's just one around. But the counter grenades from CLG have been really good, so they've slowed things down, and they have rotating players in place now, so there are men to try to defend with, but they've got to actually get those frags now, and the boost comes in very impromptu. Will it be effective? No. Rubino will shut it down as the bomb is planted, and Hayes, oh, he's spamming violently through the smoke. They're able to find Config as he runs through, but Hayes now gets his choice of shots. There's so many players on screen as he starts to tap away, but he's only got one teammate left to play with. The situation definitely desperate here for the American side as Hayes goes down, and it's just up to Pitta, and he can't get it done. What an amazing game so far from Rubino. He's got 4 kills in this round, and just generally he's been just beasting CLG.
Yeah, he's putting in great work for the Dignitas side. And I really feel like CLG aren't really making good enough use of the tree position, the way the pushes are coming in towards B in these rounds, especially with the smokes. They could have a lot of vision over those positions. And you can hide from a lot of the flashes by standing close to the tree. You saw there was a late attempt to get somebody into that tree position, but it was reactive rather than proactive, preemptive, which I think might be in order here on, excuse me, on CLG's next buy. Back on a terrible buy once again, actually. Kusa's left money in the bank to go for the AWP in the next round, but other than that, well, in a future round, let's say, because their loss bonus has been reset here. They're going to get 1900 should they lose this round, but they're going to try to win it. Kusa, numbers advantage, not going to be in his favor, and he will get taken down. Good damage, though, done to MSL.
And now we've got Hayes in a fairly decent position here, just playing around the smoke, but Dignitas know they've got a lot of time to use, and looks like Rubino again able to win another 1v1, finding Tarek going aggressive from B in towards the Dragon Lord Tapestry area, and Cutler's going to try to hold things down, and for the time being he's going to do so, but he's lost a lot of health as the cost. And now he's going to have to play around the wooden fence, and this is going to be very tough because there's so many players who could potentially be pushing him. But again, Dignitas, and this is another reason why Dignitas can have these strong T-sides, because unlike, let's say, a team like Mouseballs, if they don't always try to play slowly. So if they have a fast altercation in the rounds, or rather they can force, fast altercations and then play from that situation and have a lot of time to do it from. And now they've decided to go for this B play.
4 versus 1. There's some damage done to the players here, running out of time, so if Pitta can pick up the bomb carrier, then maybe Bedlam can ensue, but his teammate is very far away, but the flank could be important here if it can come in time. Nice flash to slow people down. There's somebody creeping around the smoke, Pitta looking for it. There's so many places he needs to cover on his own. This is going to be really hard to not get traded. He does get traded. Cutler alone now versus 2, but he can't get it done. Takes the player with him, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Dignitas have far too much money. You can see Config there on 12k, 9-1 Team Dignitas.
Yeah, this is essentially like the textbook cobblestone game for Dignitas, where they're able to just completely crush CLG, run all the right rounds at the right times, and seemingly, CLG can't really respond. And that, again, is one of the hard things on the CT side of this map. You have to be so reactive. You can't really do much from a proactive standpoint. Where do you get aggressive? Maybe you can boost on drop or something, but to actually push those positions is pretty suicidal. So we're going to see a CT timeout here. Looks like CLG taking a tactical pause, and that is very, very needed. But it's, again, what do they go to? What is the answer for them?
Yeah, there are 6 rounds for them to try and claw back, although maybe 5 is likely at best because they don't really have the money in this particular round. It's probably averaging about 2,500 across the team at the moment, 9-1 down, so this is probably going to be an eco round for them. So they're looking at 10-1, most likely, coming up. So it's how do they make it 10-5? That is the question for the North American side. And again, I think they should try to make use of the tree position over towards B, because I haven't seen anybody yet, apart from that reactive attempt, which got instantly shut down by Dignitas. But maybe Dignitas are just too coordinated as a team on a map like Cobblestone. Again, you saw the desk say this is possibly their strongest map. Mirage, they're very strong on as well, so I don't think either one would have been great for CLG. But, there's always a chance.
I mean, again, one of the cool things, or one of the things maybe that CLG should try to look towards as well is shoring up the A setups a little bit, because one thing Dignitas have been doing well is if CLG are playing Kusta on an AWP towards the A-long position, Dignitas won't just try to challenge using a pop flash the position directly in front of Kusta, the high position. Instead, what they'll do is they'll try to take the kind of underpass or middle area, the room just below or around danger, so that when the push comes in from the upper area into Kusta, even if they get the flash and maybe Kusta misses a shot, he doesn't get a chance to actually fall back because they're already in danger. So you would want to see CLG actually playing a little bit more together in those positions instead of Pitta playing very far away from Kusta, actually offering him direct rifle support. That might be a way that they could improve their setups towards A when Dignitas are playing very coordinated pushes like that. But as you said, also, they're having problems at B. So there seems to be kind of problems all over the place in that sense.
Right, so Tarek's got a taser, so maybe we could focus on him if he gets close to anybody. I'm not even sure how much what the bonus is if you kill someone with a taser, but I just want to see somebody get tased down without it being on WorldStar. Eco round for CLG, as we mentioned, they don't have the money really to get up to any shenanigans here, apart from Tarek with that taser. You can see him under the drop zone position, but it would be somewhat suicidal for Dignitas to move into the drop, at least without a flame carpet there first. So Tarek may not get any action from that position. And again, Dignitas will be quite content playing the clock down here, giving the CLG players a chance to hang themselves. And then they will eventually decide on a site. You can see the bomb is slowly moving towards A main with support. 3 players, in fact.
This is a nice little anti-eco strategy from Dignitas. If they, I mean, A long or going to B, you know, if you do that correctly with the grenades, it's very hard for the CTs to stop it with a very inferior equipment like this. And you see Rubino's in position to find actually where the majority of the players are, where the stack is for the CT side as well. So he's got that info. So that's going to give Dignitas more confidence. They don't have to use as many grenades towards the A side of the map, and as they move into the bomb site. And great placement here of the Molotovs, really assuring that they don't get caught off by any really annoying positions, like right at the back of the site in the immediate spot where we saw the broken bit of the wall there on the A-bomb side as well. So generally, you know, really nice approach from Dignitas. You can see how routine they are. And so far, you know, one of the reasons why they've been doing so well is that they're very good at losing a minimal amount of players in rounds where they have a big advantage like this one.
Yeah, CLG, strong strategists. Now it's just Tarek alone. But Dignitas are never going through that crawl space. This particular team, they're just not. That's just not happening. They try to reduce their errors as much as possible. Less errors you make, the more likely you are to win, unless you go up against sick aimers, and who knows what happens. But there we go. Tarek alone with the USP now. He's going to go down to the bomb, indeed he is. So an unceremonious round there for CLG. A very long one as well to just be staring at the walls there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Dignitas play their anti-ecos, anti-force plays in a very disciplined manner, something that when NIP are able to show everyone their new structure at DreamHack Malmo, they were able to show exactly the power of a playstyle like that. And you can see Dignitas have really gone to that, and they're doing it very well. They don't care, they're not going to frag hunt when you don't gain anything and the risk is huge, which is very nice to see. So 10-1, that is an astronomical difference between these two teams at the moment. CLG need at least 3 or 4 rounds, to be honest.
So the approach changes from CLG again. Now you have Pitta initially aggressive over towards A long, now moving back to the site itself. Hayes towards the underpass, high and low over towards A. Currently smoked off. See the harassment coming in there for Dignitas with a 9-round lead, and the grenades utility somewhat depleted here for the CT side. They still got 2 smokes though, although there is a minute 20 on the clock at the moment for Dignitas to wait to bide their time, and they have a lot of grenades to execute with to start taking some map control. Tensky bouncing, flashbang, like the combination Molotov as well. Very nice stuff there.
And this time they actually didn't try to take danger first before pushing straight up here. So had Kusta actually played a bit more aggressively, he would have had a potential for some shots. And you know, I can take a shot, fall back, take a shot, fall back. But instead he's just going to get maybe 1 or 2 shots before they're on the bomb site now. So this could be problematic, but there's still a lot of players here with rifles that could do a lot of damage. It really depends on the success of the grenades and the entries here from the Danish side. And in they go. Pitta in the first position, immediately taken down. Hayes with 1, but that's all he's going to get. And now it's a 4 versus 3. Dignitas have a good chance at taking this bomb site and the round.
Numbers advantage. Nice open plant by Tensky as well. His teammates covering the angles, covering the choke points over towards the door. Color gets taken down now. Man advantage goes the way of Dignitas. The AWP is still in play. And again, CLG, they can't afford to lose any more rounds. They almost, well, they kind of have to go for this. Tarek moving in now, gets taken down immediately. Kusta's at a point of no return, and he can't get anything done either. So it will be 11-1 in favor of Team Dignitas. And it's just such great coordination to see from Dignitas. They move in towards A long with the numbers, massive advantages for them. And then you see the second player, he throws the bomb to the point man to let him carry on, just even in the midst of firefights and so on, clear out the players there, then get the bomb over towards the person who needs to plant it, cover the angles, everything very coordinated here from Dignitas.
Good counter-strike, which is what we love to see. Now, the 11-1. Will it get worse? It looks like there's no reason why it wouldn't. I mean, as Team Dignitas has been playing very well, and the buy for CLG is very lacking. And we have a defensive opening now from Team Dignitas. Again, they've shown a great variety of ways that they can play rounds like this. They know the buy is going to be pretty weak for CLG. They know that CLG are in a position where they may decide to actually force every round. So they might be up against a force buy here. But in actual fact, it's a bit more conservative than that, because CLG have such a round loss bonus that they're going to invest just a little bit, and then the next round they actually have a proper buy, which is sensible as well.
So this is life right now. Tarek's gone from the Zeus to a jumping scout with no Kevlar. In fact, only Pitta has Kevlar on the CLG side at the moment, and I don't know how far the Dignitas team need to be, but they're probably going to Molotov his position before he even sees anybody anyway. But they should, as they approach. Here, some jumping shenanigans. The smoke comes in, and there's the Molotov, so goes down, and that's going to force Tarek's position. Got a nice position, actually, but no connections made. Gets taken down by the Lurker Rubino, and then the Dignitas are going to get to work now on the B-bomb site.
Yeah, so this should be a pretty simple affair. There's a lot of players here for the CT side of CLG, but I mean, what do they have to work with? It looks like maybe it could be enough. We've got Mag 7 and CZ coming in for frags, although the coordination from Dignitas, the trade fragging, is pretty good, although Pitta able to force himself into a very annoying position, stealing away a frag and then disappearing once again through the smoke. Pitta just causing problems, but Config will end the shenanigans, and Dignitas will claim the round that was rightfully theirs, 12-1, and now CLG, with that loss bonus, are going to have a pretty solid buy, but will they have a solid round? So far, that's not been the case.
CLG backs her maximum loss bonus, but they've only got one round. They've got one solitary, lonely round on the board at the moment, and they're in a lightless, damp room, being beaten constantly by Dignitas at the moment.
Wow.
It is a sad story indeed.
What a picture you paint for us.
Thank you very much, you're welcome. Orbs onto both sides, but can CLG get anything done off to a usual start? Did they have a lurker in this? No, they didn't have a lurker in the smoke. It's hazed on the radar there in the site itself. So a player taken down, a desperate attempt at some aggression. You have the flame carpet there, and Rubino continues to do work. Just one by one, the numbers fall. And what do you do if you're CLG, the way things are going right now? You've got MSL crab walking from the drop zone. Not going to work out, though.
Yeah, Rubino's been going Super Saiyan on CLG. And the confidence there, where he just runs through the smoke, just sprays down one player immediately. That's scary to deal with. And now Dignitas are coordinating themselves back onto that B-bomb site. And there's no one present for CLG. No one. Cutler's been spotted. That's the only player that's really there for CLG to defend with. And he's going to push in. He realizes that if he waits for his teammate, then they're going to get locked out of the choke point. So he's going to have to do what he can alone. And so far, he's been spotted as well. And it has affected how Dignitas can position themselves post-plant. So he has done something here. He's actually wasted some time for his teammates to get in position. He'll get the first frag as well. So now all of a sudden it's a 2 versus 2, a doable situation, although Cajun B's able to eliminate his oncoming teammate. And Cutler, his efforts seemingly in vain. Another round to Dignitas, 13-1 now.
I would like somebody to write me a short poem about this brutality that we're witnessing here. Send it to me on Twitter. I'll retweet what I think is the best one. Because
haiku, or like what kind of format?
Haiku works. I was thinking haiku. I can do haiku, but maybe
can have an epic.
Maybe not everyone is familiar with the format of a haiku, but just a short poem, haiku or otherwise. It doesn't have to rhyme.
What about an adaptation from Tennyson's Ulysses? What about that? Well, fair enough. We have a bit of aggression here from Hazed, looking for the smoke. Is he going to go through, James? I mean, it is desperate times, but this would be quite desperate.
Well, I mean, they're spraying the door constantly. Yeah. They've sprayed through the smoke every single round, so I don't know what he's expecting to happen. Apart from that, he's going to get shot in the head from the spray. This is a team who have mentally been destroyed, Dan.
Yep.
It's like Bane. I will destroy your mind and then your body. That's what we're witnessing right now. Tarek just down to the 5-7 here. 2 players per site for CLG as we are into the last round of the first half. And this has, there's not been much defense in this defense, Dan, from the CT side. Just the 1 round on the board. Rubino biding his time, mixing things up, going aggressive, going passive now, keeping CLG on their toes.
Well, they've picked the bomb site now, have the Danes. They will loot and pillage the B bomb site. Rubino, sorry, going in, and as always, getting the entry frag easily, and the second one as well. Rubino's just hitting everything at the moment. Looks like he's playing his bots, James, at this point. 4 versus 2 for CLG to go for a retake, but there are smokes down already. This is very difficult.
What kind of bots? aim_bots? He's 25 for 7 at the moment. Make it 26, Daddy. 26 for 7 in 1 half.
That is pretty beast.
You talk about statistics. How about that? 26 for 7 in 1 half is Rubino. 14-1. Team Dignitas leads CLG, who have a very little margin for error going into the second half, which will come shortly after this break. We'll see you soon. To 1 is the score. CLG have to win pretty much every single round here to stay alive in this tournament. Are they going to be able to do it, Dan? What do you think?
No, James.
Well, there's the answer from Dan. Soon we will find out what exactly they can do. I mean, there isn't really much to say here other than Rubino's been going absolutely nuclear for his team. Almost always delivers for Dignitas. Very good point man for the side, and that's being demonstrated here.
I mean, it's just the worst way that CLG could have started off Cobblestone. First of all, the fact that Dignitas get to play T-side first because their T-side can be so commanding, and it's exactly what we saw. And for example, if you're going to talk about underperformances from CLG or something like that, it's hard to say when, you know, when did they put Kusta in a spot where he could even do much. I mean, he didn't have it many times. When he did, he would get one chance, and Dignitas would outplay him in a way as a team that it wasn't down to individual skill. Unless Kusta is just going to go full Kenny S mode or something at his peak, there's not much he can do in some of those spots towards the A bomb site. So it's more about the decision making and how they would set up and how they would coordinate themselves in that regard. And they just didn't get many chances. So credit to Dignitas because they're playing their game, and they're playing the game very, very well. And with the fragging power that we're seeing from Rubino on those entries, there's not much you can do. And it's now time to kick off the pistol round to see if there is much to speak of here for CLG.
All right then, no pressure. CLG just need to win every round, starting with mere Glocks and a bit of Kevlar here. Rubino moving away from the disadvantageous numbers here. And there we go, headshot onto Cutler. Down goes Kusta as well. There's a third kill and a fourth. Rubino making it look easy. In 1 round, he goes from 26 to 30, Dan. What else is there to be said?
That is just ridiculous, isn't it? What? Well, he wants to have the most outrageous rating in the what's going to be 16 rounds, basically.
Oh, look, they're all coming
Oh
drop.
my God.
Allow me to headshot everyone.
Outrageous stuff. Look at this.
Boom.
Brilliant stuff.
Patience on the last one as well.
30 for 7. Rubino in 16 rounds, he is 30 for 7.
Well, maybe last chance saloon here, or maybe the saloon's already closed for CLG. The Tech 9's coming out, the P250 onto Pitta. Dire straits for Counter Logic Gaming. You have to wonder what their future holds. You know, Pitta, he's the coach who is the 5th man at the moment, so it's not like they're coming in with a full squad. Difficult times.
Well, difficult times will be met with some headshots there from the Tech 9, but we've got KGB in a pretty good position here. The tree spot has been working out well. A very good response coming in from the Danes. They're looking to close this one out quickly. 16-1. Team Dignitas absolutely crush CLG. What do you say about that one?
32 for 7 is maybe the only thing you can say about such a dominating victory for Dignitas. An expected one, especially with the way the maps went down towards the end there, but maybe you would have thought CLG would have got some more rounds on the board. Wasn't to be on this occasion, however, so they will go with their tails between their legs to shake the hands of their dominating performance. Rubino, 32 for 7. That is monstrous. Tensky's got 10 frags. The nearest person to him's got 12 frags on Dignitas. He's got 32 kills, Dan.
Yeah, that's really taking the entry role pretty seriously, isn't it? And I wonder what the consistency for his entry fragging must have been like almost 100%. Was it even 100%? I wouldn't even be surprised if it was, considering what we saw. But I mean, there's a lot to, well, maybe there's a lot to talk about. We'll have to see what the analysts think of that one, because sure, maybe you expect Dignitas to win, but CLG, they got crushed. We'll see what the analysts have to say after the break.